Hello everyone and welcome to another installment of World of Warcraft Resto Shamans. Today's topic is the 4 major PVE healing specs. First we have the Shockers, whose main healing bonuses comes from the talent known as Focus Insight. The Bolters, who like to use their Resto talent known as Turlic Currents in order to restore mana based off their lightning bolt damage. The combo, which uses both Focus Insight and Turlic Currents. And finally, the Support Shamans, who focus more on Resurgence for mana efficiency, and have the abilities to remove magical effects, and when they successfully remove a magic or curse effect, it will also heal the target. First we'll start with the Shocker Resto talents. We will go ahead and use this layout as seen on the screen as a simple baseline understanding. You can personally tweak this spec as you see fit to match your own personal style. Why would you play as a Shocker? Focus Insight reduces your next healing spell's mana by 75% of the total mana cost of the shock spell you use. So if you use Earth Shock or Frost Shock, you will reduce the mana cost of your next spell by 3,163. Now if you use Flame Shock, you'll reduce the mana cost of your next healing spell by 2,987. Some might be thinking, so what? But here's an interesting thing. Now, your Riptide and your Healing Wave no longer cost mana. So, how would this work out in the field? Well, allow me to use this dungeon as an example to show you. You can also link the 30% bonus from your shock spells to increase your next heal by 30%, then follow it up with an Unleash Elements to cause your next heal to also increase its total effectiveness by an additional 30%. An issue you might find by doing the shock abilities is you could end up becoming more focused on dealing the damage that you might tend to miss an interrupt or unable to heal an individual. During that fight, I ended up using a bit more mana than I really would have liked. You could expect to run into that with problems as well with the shock in healing, or like this group, just overall shitty DPS. Though by using the additional 30% from the shocks, you will notice an increase in your heals per second. Let's go ahead and move on to the Bolters group. We will go ahead and use this spec, as shown, as a simple baseline. The idea behind Bolters is that you are able to deal damage in order to restore mana. After every time you deal damage with Lightning Bolt, you will be restored 40% of the current damage. At the current gear skill level which I'm doing, that is easily over 2,500 per mana back every time I strike. Currently, I am showing you how the Bolter strategy works in theory. In a moment, I will be showing you how this works in actuality. After casting a few high mana spells, you can easily target an enemy and start dealing damage in order to regain your mana. An easy way to do this method combination is to try to use your bigger range spells, but make sure to use your Riptide spell to heal others who are low on mana, or low on HP. Then deal additional damage as needed to restore mana. In practice, the theory is still fairly basic. Heal when you have to, and DPS using your Lightning Bolt to restore as much mana as you can. Now, concerns with doing the Bolter strategy. Currently I showed you how it would be at a much higher end gear score, which works perfectly, because you're able to normally regenerate and do enough heals per second to where you actually don't have to worry about your mana as badly. The counter ratio to that, on the other hand, is that you may end up being more focused on dealing damage to a boss or mob to restore your mana, that a party member could end up getting really low on hit points, causing you to panic, using more mana than necessary. Another error to this strategy is hit rating. How, at a lower gear score, could you expect to have hit rating as a healer? One way to fix this problem would be to take the Elemental Precision talent in the Elemental tree. This will increase your spell hit rating by 100% of your spirit that you gain from any items or effects. Why is hitting your target important? Simple. By casting Lightning Bolt, you're taking time away from casting other healing spells, like Healing Wave. So it would be logical to want your time used on Lightning Bolt to benefit you. This strategy works well in larger groups. Because you have a partner or multiple partners to help you out with healing, you can get away with dealing some damage to the raid boss or sets of mobs, allowing you a chance to regain enough mana to cast more, quote, bigger, unquote, healing spells to maximize your heals per second.